Hello, beautiful. I hope you're well. I've just made my morning matcha. I decided to put a vanilla in there today. Oh, so good. So the way that I make it, let's see if anyone hops on, and for the people watching on a replay, if you're watching on a replay, please comment replay. Let me know that you're watching. I really, really appreciate when you tune in and when you listen to these transmissions that I share. So, matcha. I haven't drunk coffee since June, and the reason that I cut coffee out of my daily routine was because I found out that it's really not good for our health, especially women. It's not good for our hormones. And I recently watched a video as well where there's mold in coffee, and the reason we become so dehydrated when we're drinking coffee is because of this mold, because the body is like, no, get it out of me. So it does everything that it can to get the toxins out from the mold. So I recently found that out. Anyway, I moved to matcha in June. And matcha is actually really good for our health. There's some things in them, I don't know exactly what they're called. It starts with an M, I'm sure, but it's really, really good for our health. And you also get the caffeine, but the caffeine is more of a slow release rather than the that coffee gives. So I've been drinking that since June every day, pretty much. And I also drink chai tea. I love chai. I recently made my own mix. You can buy mixes and tea bags and stuff, but I recently found out that there's microplastics on tea bags, and I do my very best to look after my health. Our health is our true wealth, so my health comes first, and I do my best to keep away from steeping tea bags, and I like loose leaf tea and all of that stuff. So yeah, you can buy chai mixes that are already done. The first time, because when I was looking for all of the ingredients for chai, I couldn't find the cardamom. I couldn't find it. So I ended up getting a chai mix, and yeah, it was lovely. It was a vanilla chai mix that I got then, and yeah, I just put vanilla in there. And the way that I make my matcha is matcha powder, and I put maca root in there as well, because maca root is very good for our health. I also, this time I put in date syrup. I made my own date syrup for sweet, but I'd normally put in honey, but I haven't got honey, so I made some date syrup. I must get some more honey. And today I put in some vanilla extract too, fully natural. No chemicals, no additives, because we don't want to put that shit in our body. That's what creates... We don't want it. Anyway, let's get to the subject. What was the caption? Vision, direction and vision. Yes. It's very, very, very important that we gain clarity on what it is that we want out of life, and that we become fully aware of what that looks like. Now, a lot of the times, and I know I used to be the same, we say, oh, I want to be rich, I want wealth, or I want to be comfortable. That's a big one. I just want to be comfortable. I want to have love, I want to have safety, abundance, freedom, nourishment. We say we want these things, and we have this vision in just words. Health, freedom, abundance. Hello, whoever's hopped on, sending you so much love. Thank you so much for being here. And that's great that we have those words. However, what's very important when we have those words of what it is that we want out of life, that we gain clarity as to what that looks like and what that feels like for us. Because it's very different. The way that freedom looks for you is completely different to the way it looks for me. The way that a family setting looks for you is very different as to the way it looks for me. The way that love and safety look for you and feel for you is very different to the way it looks for me and for Tom and Sally and all of that. So when you think about your vision and your mission and the direction that you want out of life, if these words come up, I want to be comfortable, I want to be wealthy, I want to be abundant, I want to be free, that's great, because that's the start. That's the start of you gaining clarity. However, it's very important that you go deeper into that to really get specific, because fuzzy targets don't get hit, right? You're not going to get to where you want to go unless you really know what it is that you want. And I cover all of this in very extensive detail within the membership that I've created, specifically within Embrace. You can rent that. It's a premium experience. It's your soul journey, and there's so much deep, fun stuff in there, and questions where you get to learn about yourself and what it is that you want. And we've also got the Creating Crystal Clarity Mindset Coaching course within the membership too, so you can really think about what your values are and where you're going and what your direction is. And it's really, really important. Hello, Razul. I hope you're well. Sending you love. It's really, really important that you do this work and that you gain clarity over your life and where it is that you desire to head in your life, because otherwise you're just going to continue to live unconsciously. And what do I mean by unconsciously, right? Because you'll hear me saying conscious life creation. You'll hear me saying living unconsciously and living consciously. So what does that mean? What does that really mean? Because until we learn, we don't know. And typically, before we walk the path and before we start our spiritual awakening and really start to expand our awareness, conscious to us means to be awake. We're not asleep, we're awake, yeah? Like on the literal sense. And unconscious means I'm asleep or I've been knocked out, all of that stuff. Now, when I talk about consciously creating your life, what I mean is being very, very aware of the part it is that you're playing in the creation, and really approaching your life in a conscious way, that where you're not governed by your unconscious programs that are within you, because you're a big computer. Look at yourself as a big computer, yeah? Your brain is a computer. You can reprogram your brain. This is how powerful you are. And when you're living life unconsciously through your programming, which is typically through societal and familial programs that you've picked up, that you've sponged in through indirect learning and observation and experience, and also through your experience, your stories and traumas and all of the things that you've gone through in your journey. So if you think about when you learn how to drive a car, yeah, when you learn how to drive a car, you have to be very conscious in this learning. So just think about this for your life, yeah, with the conscious life creation, yeah. So when you learn how to drive a car, you have to be very conscious with the steering wheel, when to change the gears, when to press the clutch, when to press the brake, and and also being very aware of what's going on in front of you and the periphery, and also what's in the car and sounds and all of that stuff. So if you look at your life as you are the driver, yeah, you're the driver, you're the viewer, you change the gears as well, and you pressing the brakes, you're pressing the speed. And when you're learning how to drive, you must be very conscious about this. And this is what happens when you're learning how to consciously create your life, because you're not taught this in school. We're not taught this in school for a reason. This information is kept back from us for a reason. Because if we were very consciously aware of our power in how we can really create everything it is that we want, and I speak from experience, right? I've been living my dream life for 5 years. I'm not just sitting here like, meh, meh, meh. I've just read this from a book and I'm teaching you this from experience. Everything that I share with you on my socials, in my free Telegram group, and also in my paid membership is from my own experience of conscious life creation, of really learning the fundamentals of being human, aligning the mind, body and soul, and also working with the laws and the powers of the universe, because it's all very real. This isn't woo-woo shit. The law of gravity is real. Yeah, so if the law of gravity is real, which you know, you can see it, but you can't necessarily feel it. Yeah, you just drop a book, that's gravity, right? The law of attraction is real. The law of vibration is real. The law of cause and effect is real. The law of gender is real. The law of assumption is real. And I go into this within my membership in more detail. However, let's go back to the car analogy, yeah? When you're learning how to drive a car, you have to be very, very conscious of the way that you're learning. And for a while, you really have to think about it, and you're guided by your mentor, your driving instructor of driving the car. And then once you finish, once you pass your test, and to a certain level when you're driving on your own, you still have to be pretty conscious, but then you find your own way, right? And that's the beauty of mentors, teachers and guides, is that you learn the fundamentals and you learn the basics and the rules exactly, and then once you learn and you start applying it to your life and you start moving and grooving on your own, you then get to find your own way, because we've all got our own way. There's no one way. Yes, there's fundamentals and principles to being human, to consciously creating your life, to building your business, all of that stuff. But there's a billion different ways, because there's a billion different, well, there's 8 billion different ways, because there's 8 billion different people. We all do it very differently. So anyone that says there's only one way, you have to do it, is bullshit, right? There's fundamentals, yes. There's principles, yes. But you get to learn your own way. And this is essentially what I teach within my spaces and my membership, is really to trust yourself and your power and your own personal way of doing things, because you have your own unique design. Yeah. So when you pass your test and when you start driving on your own, you start to learn your own way, and then it becomes very unconscious, very easy, right? And that's the same with conscious life creation. Yeah. That's the same with conscious life creation, is it gets to a point where it just becomes easy. At first, when we're reprogramming our mind, because our mind is what creates our external reality, yeah? Our external reality is simply a reflection. She's so cute. She's so cute. Our external reality is simply a reflection of our internal reality. And at first, that's very confronting. Because we don't want to look in the mirror, and at first we don't want to look in the mirror, because we're so governed by our ego, because we've been taught to lead ourselves with our ego, with our mind. But it's so much more than that. We have a soul that resides in our heart that nudges us. This is the intuitive guidance, yeah? So at first, when we start the journey, most of the time, we're so very governed by our ego that it's confronting to hold our hands up and say, oh shit, I was the toxic one there. I was the unhealthy one there. I was acting in a very unhealthy way. I was unloving there. I was pushing boundaries there. I wasn't respecting myself there. That's confronting at first, right? It's confronting at first. But then once we realise, the more that we're honest with ourselves, and the more that I've got Polly's fur on my nose. The more that we're honest with ourselves, and the more that we hold our hands up, and the more that we look in the mirror, and the more that we're transparent with ourselves, the quicker we can change things. Because remember, our external is simply a reflection of our internal. All of our relationships are a reflection of us. All of our relationships are responding to us. They're responding to our energy. So once we take ownership of that and stop blaming and complaining and criticizing, and start to change ourselves and our internal and the way that we think and the story that we tell and the behaviors that we have, yeah, things start to change. in a very beautiful way. If you want the world to change, if you want your relationships to change, you must change, yeah? And for things to change, you must become fully aware of your vision and of the direction that you want your life to go. You must gain clarity. You must gain clarity. And we go in this in my membership, like I mentioned, there's a whole circle of life that you get to go through. You get to really think about, well, what do you want from every area of your life? Not just the word, I want health, I want freedom, I want abundance, I want to be I want to be wealthy, I want to be comfortable, whatever that is. What does that look like to you? What does that feel like to you? Because it's very different as to how it looks and feels to everyone else. And no one gets to define your life or your success but you. No one. No one gets to tell you what's right or wrong for you but you. No one gets to tell you who you are but you. No one gets to tell you what to do with your life and what direction to go but you. And a huge part of this journey is really learning how to trust our decisions and how to validate ourselves. And I come from a place of moving through all of this, by the way. When I first started my journey, I was in toxic, unhealthy relationships. I came from codependency, emotional and narcissistic abuse. I continuously looked for validation outside of me. I didn't trust myself. As much as I did trust myself, I didn't trust myself in various ways. And I had to learn boundaries. There's so much that I've moved through and overcome. I've let go of so many unhealthy and toxic ways of being and doing for me to create the life that you see me living today. And it's not been easy, but at the same time, it's been very easy because of the vision that I have for my family, not just my current family and how everything that I'm doing is positively affecting them, but also for my children. For my children, creating the safety and security that I wanted as a child in certain aspects. And I'm not saying that I wasn't safe and secure. I was. My parents are amazing. I'm very, very grateful for my parents. But just like all of us, our parents are our biggest teachers. And our parents don't give us what we need as an individual soul, because the whole point of this journey is to overcome all of that trauma that we've, and remember, trauma isn't something that's like, and it's like right in your face. It can be something like, for me, one of mine was, I'm a very huge communicator. I'm very, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm very sensitive, and that emotional connection is a requirement for me. And my parents weren't able to give me that because of their own trauma, and that's okay. That's what I needed to give myself. Yeah. And this is the thing, our parents are the biggest teachers. And the sooner that we start to look at them that way and really respect and appreciate and honour that they are human as well. And they were just trying to do their best. They were doing their best. They weren't trying, they were doing the best that they could with the tools that they had. And when we look at that and we're really honest with ourselves in the point of, okay, like at first it starts with anger and resentment. I had a huge chip on my shoulder for so long in respects to the things that I needed and wanted and didn't get from my family, but that wasn't their fault. Yeah, they were doing the best that they had with the tools that they had. And the more that I learned about myself and my trauma and what it is that I wanted and needed and required and started giving that to myself, the better my life got. The better my life got. And this required me to gain full clarity over my life, over my vision, over my direction, and over and over and over again. Because everyone in our life, they're a mirror, and they guide us back to the power and the trust within ourselves, whatever that may be, whatever's needed at the time. So it's really important that we let go of all of these low vibrational emotions of hate and resentment and because that just poisons us and holds us back. Negative energy causes a negative chemical reaction in our body. And that's what causes illness and disease, whether that be physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially, or within our relationships. So it's really, really, really important that we learn to let go of that, and that we learn how to healthily process and regulate our emotions and our nervous system, and that we learn how to self-reflect and come to clarity over our life, what it is we want, where we're going, what it is that we need, what it is that we require. And I go into this much deeper within the membership, specifically Embrace, which is your soul journey. You can buy this at a premium, and you can have it for life as well as any updates, or you can rent it, which is in the membership. And the membership, the Growth Shift membership, is £111 a month. You can cancel it anytime, and it has everything in there that you need to consciously create your life. Not just the personal and the spiritual support, but also a done for you high ticket online business model that will allow you to create the life it is that you want. You don't need any products. Everything's there for you to plug into and learn, and that's there for you. I've created that for you. And if you want to learn from me, if I'm a teacher that speaks your language and you're like, yeah, I can learn from her, I'd love to vibe and jive with her, then feel free to message me, or you can go to the link in my bio, and there's a link to the membership that you can join. You can also sign up for my newsletter as well and join my free Telegram group. But yeah, clarity over your journey, where you're going, is very, very important. And if you're just living month to month, if you're just, doing all of that short-term stuff, I really, really encourage you to shift things and change things, because it's not fulfilling and it's not as fun as life could be. We didn't come here to eat, sleep, work, rave, repeat. We didn't come here to live the same day for 50, 60 years of our lives. We came here to live different days every day. We came here to experience life at its fullest. We came here to experience ourselves at our fullest. We came here to do everything it is that we want. It's not a case of, oh, do that one day, I'll travel there one day, this is my bucket list. It's like, no, I want to do that. How can we make that happen? Not, oh, I can't afford that, it's too much, because that's lack mentality. Yeah, that's fear-based, that's scarcity. No, we're looking at life as abundance, as choice. Yeah, as coming from a wealth-based consciousness. So it's really important that if we're like, oh, I can't afford that, that we start to reprogram our mind in that sense, because life is limitless. You are limitless, and you have so much within you, and there's so much available in this world. It's simply a case of claiming it for yourself. If you don't claim it, you won't get it. If you claim it, you will get it. And your first step is learning from people who have what you want, and I'm one of those people. And if, like I said, if I'm a teacher that speaks your language, then that membership is there for you, and you have everything you need in there. I love you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. My inbox is open, and I will see you around the internet. Have a beautiful day.